or you can hop, step, jump, move it side to side, or you can bob your head, throw your legs, or you can turn around and round until you hit the ground. I don't care what you do, as long as you get in the groove. So where's my guitar, my drums and my piano? I'm down in this music. Oh, where are you from? So where are you been? In all my time, all the way you get for your skin. Oh, just to move, and get in the music, in the music. When I'm wise, so where I'm in charge.
Yes, Sunrise is back, and now we're going to be looking at the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management of Nigeria, the CIPM, which is the apex regulatory body for the practice of human resource management in Nigeria. It was established in 1968 and is chartered by Act 58 of 1992. It's my pleasure to welcome, well, the Ogas. I'm not going to add the rest of that expression as we know it in Nigeria today. We have the president, and he's the president in council, Mr. Victor Famuyibo. Good morning.
Good morning.
We also have the vice president, Mr. Anthony Arabome.
Good morning.
Good morning. As well as the registrar and CEO, Mr. Sunday Adeyemi. Good morning, gentlemen.
Very good morning to you.
Good morning.
Coming.
Pleasure to be here.
What is the meaning? This is an expression, I mean, we hear human resource management all the time nowadays. What exactly is human resource management?
Thank you very much. Human resource management is the science and the art of managing
It's a science and an art at the same time?
Absolutely, of
Okay.
managing the human asset in the workplace. As you know, in a typical workplace, you have all the factors of production, but the human being is the most important factor of production. And the profession that manages the human being in the workplace is that profession, esteemed profession, human resource management.
How come it's a science and an art at the same time?
Well, there are aspects of human resource management that are clearly quantitative and measurable. But by far the more important ones are the subtleties, the more amorphous aspects of the profession that are not measurable, but are nonetheless very, very important in delivering good human resource management practice.
So if
So,
I
for
wanted
example-
to go into human resource management, would I have to study art subjects or science subjects?
I will suggest to you that human resource management practice has actually evolved. There are the years before the 1980s where, it was largely personnel management. It was very welfareist, and all you needed to be good at is excellent communication. So arts graduates did well in that part of the evolution of the journey of HR management. But today, in order for you to be good at HR practice, you've got to be fairly quantitative. So you'll find graduates of social sciences, engineering, the natural sciences, and even law going into this discipline.
So it's not just personnel management anymore.
No, we've
There's a
evolved.
lot more
Yeah.
to it.
Yeah.
Okay, let me turn to the registrar now. So what does it entail?
Human resource management, like my president said, is about how do you attract the right quality and quantity of the required employees in the workplace. So it entails attraction, it entails retention. In retaining people, you have to motivate them. To get the best out of people, you have to develop them, you have to train them. And you have to put the right environment in place, policies, and these are the things, the old process of human resource management.
If I may add,
yes, okay.
if I may add to that, in a nutshell, the profession looks at end-to-end solution in the management of the human being. It's a cradle-to-grave kind of proposition. So you're not only looking at how do I find the right kinds of people, how do I attract them into the organization, but how do I keep them? How do I develop them? How do I use them? Because you also have to deploy people to the right jobs, otherwise you still don't get the productivity out of them. It's about how do I also remunerate them? How do I make sure that they are motivated all through their stay? And how do I provide for life after employment? So it's a cradle-to-grave proposition that we're looking at.
President of
Yes.
President in Council for CIPM. What is the objective of CIPM then?
Well, if you look at the decree or the Act 58 of 1992, the objectives are very, very well stated. Primarily, CIPM is there to regulate and control the practice of the profession. So we have to look at the kinds of people who will be charged with managing the human assets in the workplace. We set the standards. We continuously look at how do we lift them up in terms of training and development. We continue to upgrade their skill set so that we can prepare them and make sure that they are contemporary at all times. That is where CIPM comes in.
Okay, so
Yes.
the registrar, if I may ask, how many members do you have currently? We know Nigeria is a large nation. There are loads of corporate organizations.
Yeah.
How many members do you have who are HR practitioners?
Yeah, as of today, our membership stands at 12,000. 12,000 people on our membership roll.
So in terms of regulating then, would you say that that number is one that truly represents the kind of numbers in terms of practitioners that we have in Nigeria, or you have
Definitely
much
not.
less?
Definitely not. We have so many people out there who are practicing without embracing that body that regulates the practice of human resource management.
Would you say that that limits the capacity of CIPM to actually regulate and manage the practice
Definitely
in Nigeria?
not. What we are doing is year in, year out, we are improving our processes, we are changing the game to attract people. Because like my president said, we are the only body that is shattered by Decree 58 of 1992 to regulate that practice. So there are two options to us. We enforce and we take our space. We say, hey, we go to every organization, including China. As I say, your human resource people, are they members of the institute? We can do that and go from organization to organization, but we haven't reached that yet. What we are doing is to go by moral suasion. We make the institute attractive. We tell people from time to time what we're doing so that they can come voluntarily to join the institute. But we are getting to a stage where we now need to enforce that, to say to organizations. We wrote to about 150 organizations about 6 months ago to say, hey guys, you need to tell us the people who are managing human resource in your organizations. Because there are a lot of things going out there that are very, they are, if you like, I would say they are unfair labor practices.
Okay.
And they fall squarely within our remit to make sure that this will not happen in this country.
Okay.
So we are going to those organizations to do that.
Okay. Mr. Rahman, how does one become a member of CIPM?
Well, there are two routes. There is the examination route, and there is the bit.
What's the first route you said?
Examination.
Exam. Okay.
Exam.
And there is the other bit which comes